Welcome to the Novigos second lecture on SAP Transportation Management Practice course. In this lecture we cover order management. So far in our course we discussed about the major advantages of SAP TM. We talked about the parties involved in the transportation cycle. We talked about two major transportation scenario categories, shipper scenario and LSP scenario. We learned about the 5 major components in SAP TM and their general functionality. The purpose of this lecture is to cover the order management component of SAP TM. By the end of this lecture, you will be familiar with the most important objects, their definition and their interaction within order management. You will be familiar with the SAP ECC and SAP TM integration during order management. You will learn about different methods to receive an order from customer into SAP TM. You will learn about freight unit and its usage. This is the scenario which we work on throughout our course. Our company produces and exports chemical products. We build containers on our plant and send them overseas to our customers. In this scenario, our goal is to send those containers to the port of discharge. In order to do that, we have two options. We can use port of loading 1 or port of loading 2. We choose the port of loading while we are in the planning stage and by considering the schedules. We talk about schedules later on in this course. As you can see, our transportation network has 2 stages. Stage 1 or pre-carriage, which is a road leg and will be done by trucks. And stage 2 or main carriage, which is an ocean leg and will be done with ships. This flowchart belongs to the first step or the first component of SAP TM, which is order management. It starts by receiving an order and it ends by freight unit creation. I'm going to cover each of these objects step by step. There are 2 main ways to receive a customer's order into SAP TM. One through ERP system and the other one directly from customer into SAP TM. Shipper companies usually have ERP system, so they receive a sales order from customer. They create a sales order document and then later on, after they deliver the goods, they convert the sales order document into delivery document. LSP companies, however, receive the customer's order directly into their SAP TM system as a forwarding order or forwarding quotation, which later on can be converted into forwarding order. Now let's take a look at the definition of forwarding quotation. An offer from a carrier or LSP to an ordering party for the transportation of goods, which contains information about the price and other conditions related to the transportation services. Now what is forwarding order? It's an order from an ordering party to a carrier or LSP to transport goods from a shipper to a consignee in accordance with agreed terms and conditions. In this video, I'm going to show you guys what forwarding order is in the system and how you can create it. Forwarding order is used in LSP scenarios, meaning that if I was an LSP company, I would use this document to put the order into my system. But since we are working on a shipper scenario, we don't really need forwarding order. I'm just going to create one forwarding order to show you guys what forwarding order is and how you can create it. So there are some fields you should populate when you create a forwarding order type, transportation modes, shipping type, default route, sales org, sales office, sales group. I have prepared a reference forwarding order instead to populate those fields automatically. Also, another thing you guys should notice is the forwarding quotation field here. If you want to create your forwarding order based on a quotation that you have in the system, you should use it here in this field. And when you put the forwarding quotation number here, the system automatically transfer the data in your quotation into the forwarding order. I'm going to go ahead with my reference number and I will create a forwarding order based on that reference. So as you can see, this is the forwarding order document, there are several tabs here. Each of these tabs contain specific information. I'm going to explore some important tabs in this video. Here in this tab, which is called general data, we can see some general information about our forwarding order. The organizational data, Incoterm, house bill of lading, forwarding agreement references, which is for charge calculation purposes, general terms, have transportation mode, which is road in this forwarding order, shipping types, movement types, gross weight, volume, and pieces. Another tab which we are going to explore is the items tab. In the item tab, you can see the list of items, also services and packages in your forwarding order. Here as you can see, we have some services and one package. Another tab which we're going to look into is the business partner. Here you can see all of the parties which integrate with this specific scenario with the forwarding order: ordering party, shipper, and consignee. Another tab which I'm going to show is locations and dates. Here you can see the source location, pickup date. This is the address of source location, Dallas. Destination, delivery date, and address of destination location. Also in this tab, which is called stages, we can see the different stages of a forwarding order. This is the complete carriage from source location to destination location, and here we can see that the forwarding order has been divided up to 3 stages: pickup, main carriage, and delivery, and each of them has its own locations and pickup and delivery date. And the attachments tab, if you have any document you want to attach to your forwarding order, you can use this tab. So I'm going to go ahead and save this document. Now I'm going to create a sales order in my ERP system. There are also some fields which need to be populated here. I've already filled out the information necessary for creating a sales order. Here I have my sold to party, which is my customer, the ship to party, which is the party which receives the cargo, the required delivery date, which is November 30th, the list of material, phenol and acetone. So I have 25 tons of phenol and 75 tons of acetone in my order. I'm also going to put a purchase order number for this sales order document. Another thing we should explore is the material availability date and the loading date, which is November 4th. I'm going to go ahead and save this document. So pay attention to this number, which is our sales order document, 16956. The next thing I'm going to do is to create a delivery document. So this is the delivery document. Let's assume we were not able to deliver all 75 tons of acetone, and instead we were able to deliver 50 tons. Let's see what happens later on. So I created a delivery document, and This is the delivery number. Now what happens after a shipper company receives a sales order from customer? It creates a sales order document and delivery document. But sales order and delivery documents are ERP specific objects and they need to be converted into TM specific objects. After integration between ERP and TM, sales order will be converted into OTRs, or order-based transportation requirements. Let's take a look at the definition of OTR. An order object representing the transportation demand from a sales, purchasing, or stock transfer order in an SAP ERP system. What about the delivery document? Delivery document will be converted into DTR, or delivery-based transportation requirements. An order object representing the transportation demand from an inbound or outbound delivery in an SAP ERP system. Now, OTR and DTR also integrate with each other. DTR consumes the amount of OTR. Another thing, delivery document in ERP can be triggered in SAP TM from OTR document. I'm going to explain in more detail about these integrations in next slides. Different companies, based on their business requirement and existing business processes, use different objects to work with. Some of them only use OTR document. They don't use delivery document and DTR document to do their planning with. Some companies, on the other hand, use the delivery document, meaning after receiving a sales order, they create a sales order document. Then after delivering the goods, they create a delivery document. Then after the conversion of delivery document into DTR, they do all of their planning processes with the DTR. Another way, which can be a bit more complicated, is to use delivery proposals, meaning that delivery document creation can be triggered from SAP TM and specifically from OTR document. Usually, companies create delivery proposal after planning of OTR has been finished. Another way can be using both OTR and DTR in our system. A sales order will be received from the customers. A sales order document will be created in ERP and OTR will be created in SAP TM. Then the transportation planners can do their planning activities with OTR. Then later on, when the company delivers the goods, the delivery document will be created. A DTR will be created in SAP TM and the DTR will consume the amount of OTR. Here you can see our DTR work list. In DTR work list, you can find all of the DTR documents which exist in your system. The first item which we have here is the DTR document which has been created based on the delivery document which we created together in our ERP system. This is our original delivery document number and this is the customer purchasing number. Now I will open our DTR document so we can explore it in more details. I'll start with general data tab. You can see some general information in this tab, like the delivery details, the statuses, lifecycle status, execution status. You can see if there's any block in your DTR. The organizational data, you can see the overall quantities, volume, weight. Incoterms. Here you can see the items tab. In the items tab, you can see the list of all items exist in your DTR document. As you remember, in our delivery document, we had 25 tons of phenol and 50 tons of acetone. The next tab is business partner tab. You can see our shipper, consignee, and goods buyer party. Next tab is locations and dates. This is our source location, the address of our source location. This is the earliest pickup date. The destination, the delivery date, and address of destination. And at the end, we're going to explore the document flow. In document flow, you can see the hierarchy of documents. The first is the DTR, which we have open right now. The predecessor business document is the outbound delivery, which we created together in ERP. This is its number. Then we have our sales order, and this is the business document number. And here we have some other documents which are successor business documents. They are called freight unit. We're going to talk about freight units in more detail in next videos. Now I'm going to open another list called OTR work list. We can see the list of all OTRs in our system. I open the OTR document which we created together in ERP. The OTR has been created based on the sales order which we created on ERP system. We start in general data. The document is pretty much the same as DTR with some differences. So here in our statuses, we have another status called consumption status, which is consumed partially. If you remember, in our sales order, we had the total amount of 25 tons of phenol and 75 tons of acetone. In this OTR document, we have the same numbers. But in our delivery document, we only delivered 25 tons of acetone and 50 tons of acetone instead of 75. That's the reason why this status is consumed partially. If we were able to deliver all of the items in our sales order, the consumption status would be consumed completely. And if we wouldn't deliver the document, the consumption status would be not consumed. Here in OTR, we also have some other tabs. We can see the consigning goods, buyer, bill to party, and payer, and location and dates, which is pretty similar to DTR document, document flow, and the rest is the same. Regardless of the object we are using in our company, whether it's OTR, DTR, or forwarding order, all of them need to be converted into freight units. What is a freight unit? A set of goods that are transported together across the entire transportation chain. A freight unit can include constraints for transportation planning. We can create a rule in our system called freight unit building rule. The system takes into account freight unit building rule, or FUBR, when creating and editing freight units. So basically, freight units will be created by freight unit building rule. Here I have the document flow tab of the DTR document which we just went through open. As you can see, 3 freight units has been created as a result of DTR and OTR creation. The reason why 3 freight units has been created is something which we will explore by opening the FUBR later on in this video. Before doing so, please notice that the total weight of material which we have in our DTR document is 75 tons. Now I open one of the freight units here. In the general data tab, you can find information such as source location, destination location, and the respective dates, the required capacity, the organizational data, and additional data. In the additional data area, we have our freight unit building rule maintained. In our freight unit building rule, we have a split quantity of 25 tons, meaning that my freight unit building rule will split the items based on this number to create freight units. And since we have 75 tons of material in our delivery document, we will end up with 3 freight units. Now I go back and open my freight units, and here in the items tab you can see that the material that I have has the total weight of 25 tons. Another tab which I like to explore before finishing this video is the document flow. As you can see in the hierarchy, the freight unit is the document that I have on top, The predecessor documents are DTR and OTR and respective delivery document and sales document. I have prepared some exercises based on the lecture we just went through. Exercise number 1. List business scenarios under which each of the transportation requirement documents would be created. Exercise number 2. What factors does the FUBR takes into consideration while creating freight units? Exercise number 3. What purpose does the forwarding quotation serve? In this slide, you can see the answers for those questions.